What's going on, everyone? So, the Lakers 2020 team was the last team in which we won an NBA championship. And it was just like a perfectly built roster. You had size, you had athleticism, you had defense, you had shooting, you had elite coaching staff. I mean, that was the Avengers of a coaching staff. And of course, the Lakers ended up pulling out and winning the NBA championship. And a lot of people like to say, oh, it's the bubble ring and rah, 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 rah. Yet, completely ignore that the Lakers were the best team by a large margin even before, and were the number one team in the league, and were on an insane run before the stoppage of play. People also forget the Lakers started like 24-3 during that season, and were just unbelievable, right? And then we win the championship. We followed that up with actually upgrading, keeping the key pieces, and upgrading at some key positions. We even later on get Andre Drummond, and it looks like we're about to go back-to-back. I believe if everyone didn't get hurt, which like everyone did. I mean, LeBron was playing on one leg. Anthony Davis ended up getting hurt in that Phoenix series. Even Dennis Schroeder, right? Dennis Schroeder, the best three-man lineup in the NBA was Schroeder, LeBron, and Anthony Davis. They had a plus, like, I think 11 and a half, top of my head, something like that season. And then Schroeder got COVID, and he just wasn't the same that year. Everything was off, right? He didn't have the energy. He was getting gassed and winded, right? He couldn't shoot, right? It was just everything that he was really good at that year, he just wasn't able to maintain. Even Andre Drummond was dealing with a toe injury and stuff. Like, that team was just falling apart, right? And still, we were up 2-1 against the Suns, who eventually went on to the NBA Finals and played the Milwaukee Bucks, which I believe we would have beaten the Milwaukee Bucks. We matched up excellent against them. But, we were up 2-1. Lakers are making it look like, Phoenix was their Suns. And then all of a sudden, AD goes down and that was it, right? Otherwise, we go up 3-1 and the Lakers win that series, in my opinion. Because again, they were one of the best teams in the league. I mean, there was a good stretch where they were the best team in the league. And then, like I said, everyone started getting hurt, COVID, all that stuff. And it just messed everything up. And then, after that, the infamous Russell Westbrook trade. Which, man, that was rough, right? Because we literally gave up everything for a guy that everyone knew wasn't going to work, that it just didn't make sense. I was hopeful. I defend Russ. I still defend Russ to this day because it's not all his fault. He got the scapegoat. He got the S end of the stick for the whole thing, but it wasn't his fault, right? There was some stuff that was, don't get me wrong, but like he didn't, the Lakers went and traded for him. He just came and tried to make it work. He was willing to sacrifice and adjust and completely change his game for the Lakers. Again, there's a lot of stuff that, you got to give Russ credit for. I know some people don't want to do that, but at least he tried, right? At least he made the effort, made the sacrifice. He just wasn't the same player. But the problem is you gave up everything that you've been chasing now for the last 3 years. Literally, all your 3-and-D guys, Kyle Kuzma, KCP, you've been trying to chase those type of players now for the last few years. And they're very hard to get. They're nearly impossible to come by. And so now, because you went and traded the hardest pieces to acquire in the league, which are 3-and-D wings and 2 guards, that now it's just the Lakers either A, have to overpay, or they're praying that some of their young guys can become that, right? Like, they're praying that Max Christie can become a legit 3-and-D style play. Can he be our KCP type player, right? Dalton Connect. Can he come in and be that, 3-and-D wing and, and slot some minutes in at the 3, right? Like, you went and got Jared Vanderbilt, which is great. I mean, Jared Vanderbilt is arguably the best on-ball defensive player in the league, but he can't shoot. He can't score, right? So it's just like, man, like, so it's like, yeah, he's great defensively, but there's times where he can't even be on the court because he just gives you nothing offensively. So now you're hoping and praying that Jared Vanderbilt finds a shot, or that, Max Christie and Dalton Connect end up developing as legit two-way guys, or, something breaks for you. Austin Reeves all of a sudden becomes a lockdown defensive guy. And it's just, you're chasing and trying to figure out a piece or two based on what you already had. All right, like KCP probably would still be a Laker right now. He's coming off of another all defensive season, right? Like Alex Caruso, just letting him walk, right? I mean, we desperately need an Alex Caruso type. So much so the Lakers are looking to trade for like a Bruce Brown type of player. And it's like, you had him, and you would have had him dirt cheap, right? Like, I'm okay with them losing Dwight and JaVale and all that. Like, a lot of people are like, oh, they should have never let Dwight go. They should never let. I'm okay. For me, it's more of like Alex Caruso. Like, out of everybody, Alex Caruso is the one guy that they absolutely shouldn't have lost. Like, that's probably the biggest blunder that they've made, right? KCP and Kyle Kuzma, okay, because they were going to trade Kyle Kuzma regardless, right? They had a Kings deal done, right? So Kyle Kuzma was out the door regardless. KCP, I do think that the Lakers should have kept. I do, don't get me wrong. But, okay, fine. Like, if you would have traded for Russ, but you still kept Alex Caruso, like, fine. I think that would have helped a lot, too, because you would have had that off-ball 3-and-D guy that could have been a point of attack, right? I think he would have helped kind of keep things glued together, right? Rather than having to go get Patrick Beverley and all these things, right? You would have just had that guy. But also worth noting is, KCP didn't become KCP until he got with the Lakers, and Lakers kind of molded him into that. But it's incredibly frustrating, right? Because it's just like, like we had the guys that we need. We had the pieces to the puzzle. And we dropped the ball, and we've been just fighting to try to figure it out ever since. We're trying to, again, like I said, bringing in a Patrick Beverley and, Gabe Vincent. You're hoping that he can kind of be that and be that point of attack and kind of be maybe your like Avery Bradley type, or, and that's why they get Dennis Schroeder again. It's just like, they just keep trying to, even Cam Reddish, which, to Cam Reddish's credit, he was very good defensively. But again, liability offensively, right? Lakers have been trying to find that replacement for key guys for, years now. And it's so hard to do. And the only way that they're really going to be able to do that is via trade, right? And again, unless Max Christie and Dalton Connect out the gate, like, genuinely give you that athleticism and that youth, great. But can they give you the two-way? Can they hit open shots? Can they defend multiple positions? Can they be a big defensive piece for the Lakers? Right? Like, that's the thing. And they're just so young. Can you put that much pressure on them? Right? And then once you get to the playoffs, can you rely on those two that much? It's just, again, it's very tough. So the only way you could really do that is, again, you go make a trade for a Bruce Brown or a Cam Johnson or a Jeremy Grant or whomever, right? Now the Lakers have to overpay for guys that they never would have had to overpay for. Again, I'm not saying that they would have been able to keep KCP, Caruso, and Kyle Kuzma all this time. They probably would have lost one of them. But bare minimum, there's no excuse for why they lost Caruso. There just is, right? Again, KCP, you probably would have had to pay him a pretty penny that you probably would have been able to afford. You probably would have lost him, and you probably would have traded Kyle Kuzma at some point, right? So you would have, I think, at some point would have lost probably 2 by now, but you also might have won a chip in that time, right? Like, yeah, we wouldn't have Jared Vanderbilt, but we also wouldn't have Malik Beasley, who was a disaster. We wouldn't have had, D'Angelo Russell. Instead, we would have had Austin Reeves along with Alex Caruso, right, as like our backcourt, and then with a potentially, maybe it was, maybe you were able to keep KCP in that. So maybe it was Austin Reeves, KCP, Alex Caruso with LeBron James and Anthony Davis. And you have some real shooting. You have some real 3-and-D defense, right? And you have guys that can go and hit, but it's frustrating because now, again, like, Lakers have to go find those pieces via trade, and you're giving up stuff for things that you already had. So not only did you lose the cost of giving those guys away, you also lost the cost of now what you're going to have to pay to go get these guys. So it's just, again, it's a little frustrating. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. That's a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Are you frustrated by this too? Do you think like, no, I mean, again, you would have lost some of those guys one way or another. Do you think that like it's fine as long as they kind of right the ship? Do you think Max Christie and Dalton connect? Do you think that maybe they could provide that and kind of play that, KCP level role? I think if anyone can do it, I think it's Max Christie. Like if I had to put my money on anyone to kind of step into that role, it would be Max Christie. I think he has a real genuine shot to be that guy. But anyway, again, however you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.